Hey there, home labbers and engineers. FE Engineer here. So I have been getting a whole bunch of comments saying that the Automatic1111 stable diffusion setup for AMD on Windows has problems. We'll say it nicely. It's got some problems right now. So I spent some time figuring out how to get it to work. And so in this, I'm going to show you, as of the end of December 2023, how to get Automatic1111 using DirectML up and running without any problems. So let's take a look at what we need to do. Now I have gone ahead and I have actually deleted out my old setup for DirectML. For anybody who may need to do this, you may have to delete your entire old setup. When you delete that, make sure if there were models that you want to save, make sure you take those models out and save them so you don't have to re-download. And for any images that you generated that you want to keep, make sure you move the SD outputs somewhere else. That way they are not in here when you blow everything else away. I went ahead and on Windows, I deleted Miniconda entirely. I also deleted my Python since I had Python 3.10.11 or something. And in the instructions on this repo in particular, it specifically says down here in installing on Windows to use 3.10.6. So if you are like me and actually delete out all of your versions of Python, just go to Windows Add and Remove Programs, and then inside of there type Python, and then everything that's in there, just delete it out. And so then what you'll need to do is you'll need to install Python again. And with this 3.10.6 version specifically, all you have to do is come down here on the page to where it says Windows Installer 64-bit. Click here, it'll download a file. After that, you can install it. And when you install it, make sure that you check the Add to Path. For anybody who may not have it, you will also need to install GitHub for Windows. Go ahead and install that. It's pretty straightforward. So then it says to git clone this repository. And so I'm going to go into the directory that I want to create it. And I've usually been setting up everything in Stable Diffusion Test. So for there, I'm just going to git clone exactly the way the directions say. Paste that in, clone this over. Okay, now that it's cloned, I'm going to cd into this directory that was just created. And then in here it says to run webui-user.bat. Okay, so we will just webui-user. Okay, so now we're trying to install this and we've run into our first problem. Torch is not available to use GPU, add skip torch CUDA test. I can tell you now, if you run skip torch CUDA test, that doesn't help you, it just breaks. So, okay, so press any key. So the way that we fix this is we go into this Stable Diffusion WebUI DirectML, come down here into requirements_versions, open this in Notepad, go down to the bottom, type torch-directml, save that. And now when we run it, So now if we run webui user, we end up with the same problem. Okay, press any key to continue. What we're going to do now is we're going to type venv /scripts venv scripts activate. This puts us actually inside of a virtual environment. Inside of that virtual environment, we are going to type we're going to do pip install -r requirements.txt. Enter on this. Most of these things it probably already has, so it shouldn't really need to do too much, but this may end up downloading a decent amount depending on what you already have or don't. And okay, so now let's try running webui-user.bat again. Skip torch CUDA test, failed again. So now what we need to do is edit this webui-user.bat file. Show more options, edit. Inside of here, for command line args, we're going to put use-directml and ONNX. Save that. Run webui-user.bat again. And we can see that we've gotten past where we were, and so now it's installing some things. So just to let people know, it went and installed ONNX and Olive and CodeFormer and stuff, and then we got this same problem with socket options, which is something that's been broken for a while. Since we are still here in our virtual environment, we can just pip install httpx pip install httpx == 0.24.1, hit enter and install that, and it will swap it over. And then after that, we can webui-user.bat and now we have Stable Diffusion up and running. Great. So let's look. We have no checkpoints. So let's go over to the ONNX tab and let's just download a model. Okay, it says model has saved. Let's go over text to image. Let's try and load up our model, Stable Diffusion 1.5. And let's grab this prompt. Sounds good. It's supposed to be like coffee or something. All right, great. Use that prompt, generate. Okay, it generated an image and we got, I don't know, 6.5 iterations per second, which on my 7900 XTX is not exactly fantastic. So great, let's take a look at what's going on. This model that was downloaded is an ONNX model, but it is not optimized for Olive. So let's go ahead and optimize it. Come over here, optimize ONNX. Come down, hit optimize, and immediately an error. This here says ONNX Stable Diffusion object has no attribute, low VRAM. So the way that we fix this is if we look up in here, we'll see that inside of Stable Diffusion webui-directml modules and then sd_models.py on line 632, there was a problem. So we'll come up here, modules, and we'll find SD_models. And we are going to open with Notepad. And inside of Notepad, if you will see on the bottom left, it'll tell you line 348. We are looking for line 632. Here, send model to CPU. And with all of this, you can either delete it or you can comment it out. And so these 4 lines, if m.low VRAM, else m.2, comment these 4 lines out and leave devices.torch_gc. We're going to hit save. Now that we saved that SD_models.py, we need to actually reload the entire server. Now that we updated that SD_models.py file, I'm going to run webui-user.bat. Stable Diffusion has entirely reloaded. And if I come over here to the Olive tab and optimize ONNX model, exactly like I did before, just hit the button and we'll see that it now, in fact, is optimizing. Okay, so this now says optimization complete. Up here, optimization complete, time taken 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Fantastic. Text to image. Copy this prompt over to Stable Diffusion, paste the prompt in, generate. Ah, yes, there we go. 19 iterations per second. That's much better. Let's go ahead and do another test. So I went ahead and downloaded a model called Animerge from Civitai earlier today. And I am simply going to copy that. I am going to go to my models file. Here inside of stable-diffusion, I'm going to paste that model right in here. There's animerge_v25.safetensors. Yep, get out of here, coffee cup. Over here at Olive, I'm going to type in this Animerge v25 safe tensors. For the ONNX model and the output folder, I'm going to put in Animerge_v25. And I'm going to optimize that. And again, this is doing an ONNX optimization, and so it is going to constantly tell me that there is no GPU available, and that's fine. We're just going to let it go. All right, it has finished that other model. It says optimization complete. Come back up here to the top, reload. Animerge v25 optimized. And we'll fix this silly mistake with grammar. Generate. Wow, that looks kind of cool. And so then you may say, okay, great, everything works. Now, how do we restart this? I'm going to actually close this out. If you remember, I'm actually in this virtual environment. Come right back here to Stable Diffusion WebUI DirectML. I am literally just going to double click on webui-user. It popped open a command prompt. It's running. Okay, great. Seems to be working. Where's that coffee prompt? Copied. Okay, great. Paste that in. ANImerge v25 optimized. Generate. And it went ahead and generated. Looks a little bit weird. But this gets everything up and running. Another thing I've been asked somewhat frequently is what is safe to delete? So let's go back into models. Inside of stable diffusion, I had this ANImerge safe tensors. Just go ahead and delete that back out because I don't need it anymore. We'll go ahead, we'll reload my UI. And you'll see that even though I deleted it out, there's two different versions of it. Copy this coffee prompt. If I use ANImerge underscore v25, it did it in 4.2 seconds, and it was an average of 20 iterations per second. If I swap over to this optimized one, hit generate, time is 4.4 seconds. That one only got up to 19.5 iterations per second. But you'll see both those work. I was able to delete the model out of this folder entirely. And the reason why you still see ANImerge and the optimized one is that one is in olive cache and one is in ONNX-olive. And so we will actually delete the one that is out of ONNX-olive. Go ahead and reload. You'll now only see one. Hit generate. It generated it 20 iterations per second, but it still works without any problems. So you should be able to delete them out of the ONNX-olive, and I'm going to actually close it down. You'll see it is in fact closed down. Go back to stable diffusion, double click webui-user.bat. It comes back up, ANImerge is still there. If I copy this prompt yet again, hit generate. It still runs at 20 iterations per second. So that's how you can delete some unnecessary and unused models out to clear out some space. Thank you so much, folks. I hope this helps some people out. I have been getting bombarded with comments asking what's wrong and how to fix it. This should be able to fix just about everything, from the torch isn't available error that's happening at the beginning to the low VRAM for optimization. This should allow you to do, as far as I know, everything that you were able to do before. I haven't tested it fully, but at least this gets it up and running again. Thanks so much, folks. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching my videos, home labbers and engineers. I create and edit all of these videos on my own, so any likes and subscribes will massively help out the channel and allow me to continue creating content to help people. If you got value out of this, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel to be notified when new content drops. If there's something I've not covered but you would like to see a video on it, please leave a comment down below. And again, a massive thank you to everyone. I hope you have a great day.